Hi, this is Ms.Hemavardhini, Assistant Professor, Department of English from Sri Krishnaswamy College for Women. Today we are going to learn about the Reflections on the Revolution in France by Edmund Burke. Edmund Burke is an Irish-born British philosopher, statesman and economist. He was born in Dublin and he was a member of Parliament. And he is a supporter of the Whig Party, so that he made sure that his works favoured towards the Whig Party. Reflections on the Revolution in France was regarded as a primary critic of the revolution in its day. We know that lyrical ballads were written due to the French Revolution, but here Edmund Burke is against the French Revolution. So this work is considered to be one of the major critiques during his period. The key factor is that Charles Jean-Francois Dupont, he asked Mr. Burke his opinion about the French Revolution, and Burke in return wrote a letter to him which stated that the French Revolution is something which shouldn't be advised or which shouldn't be supported. He dismisses the comparison between the French Revolution and the 1688 Revolution in England. He claims that the 1688 Revolution was actually an adjustment for the constitution and adjustment of a system and the removal of a king who was considered to be bad. Here he is stating about the deposition of James II and VII by William and Mary in England. He states that the French Revolution was actually an attack on the ancient customs and traditions. What led Burke to write? While writing a letter to Dupont, Burke begins by critiquing a sermon which was delivered by the minister Richard Price. He condemns Richard Price and he states that the thoughts and the ideology of Richard Price is something which doesn't support the French Revolution. He also makes sure that he states that American Revolution is something different from the French Revolution and people shouldn't support it. He also adds and talks about the glorious revolution in which people had the right to choose their own government and establish the parliamentary meetings, and thus which gave rise to the Magna Carta. Burke argues that the French Revolution has been a rebellion which is against the lawful monarch. So according from his viewpoint, he says that the monarch is correct and everything is perfect. But some people, due to their sermons, they have made the people to rebel against the government, and thus it ended in the French Revolution. He also dramatically retells the story of the invasion of Versailles, where he states that the king and queen were actually arrested and were made as prisoners and were taken to their country, and they had no power to give any orders, but they were just being under the name of the king and queen. He critiques the new legislatures in the National Assembly who lack judgment. And he also states that the people in the parliament, they sort of gave ideas and new laws to the people, but there was no judgment or else a perfect reason behind it. It was just as if a sake that they need to do something for the French Revolution, and that no one should say that no one did any proper measure to control it. They just gave a lot of laws and arguments, but all these things, they lacked the reason in it. Then he concludes by commending that British as an example to France. He asserts that changes should be made for the sake, and people should strive for reform and not revolution. He means that people should, go and talk with people and let them understand about the circumstances rather than standing on the hall or on the road and shouting against a government, which he feels is something which has to be avoided. He does not expect to change Dupont's mind, but he believes that, Dupont, the person to whom he is writing the letter, can consider his belief. And France someday might need all the things which Burke has stated. So as a whole, he is not trying to state that follow these things which I'm saying, these are the truth. He is just giving his opinion to Dupont, that he doesn't feel that the French Revolution is something which has to be supported, and he says that it shouldn't be compared to American Revolution. And also he urges upon that in future you might need a help. So at that time, go through this. And the example, that is whom you can look up at during that time, is the British government. So this is an essay which is written by Edmund Burke. And Thomas Paine, in his work The Rights of Man, he has actually addressed to this work where he states and supports the French Revolution. So in our next video, we will be looking at Thomas Paine's Rights of Man. I hope you have understood the reflections on the revolution in France. So thank you.